There are people who choose to make a positive difference in the world. Our job is to bring you their stories to motivate you to do the same. Join us each week, host John Alexander and Naima Latif, as we bring you the educators, entertainers, elected officials, religious leaders, and community activists whose works are transforming this world. Find out how you can make a difference too. Be inspired. Watch The Media Connection.
So I think for the past 31 years, the Continental Africa Chamber of Commerce has been instrumental in providing literature, information relative to investments in Africa. And I'm very pleased to say that some of us speaking, including the moderator, are all members. Our executive director is also here. Pa Odubita, would you please stand up for recognition? His deputy, just sitting on his left side, Clement Tempo from Ghana, is also here with us, please. And also a representative for the state of Illinois, who is also from Cameroon, is here with us in charge of economic development. Sam, please stand up. Given that we are a global people, as my professor has also said, we have a long way to go, but nothing should discourage you from investing in Africa. Every effort is being made to ameliorate some of these problems. I can assure you one thing, Rome wasn't built in one day. As far as Africa is concerned, we shall gradually reach there. Can we do it? Yes. Yes, we can. Olivier Tambo.
I think also we have to give applause for somebody who has given us this opportunity to be here to provide this platform, Reverend Jesse Jackson. Thank you so much. Do you mind to say a few words before we continue?
If you insist.
How's everybody? I'm delighted to witness this family meeting today. It's part of an unfolding dream I've had over a long period of time. We have learned to survive apart, and we survive in our own little spaces, our own tribe, our own little corner of the earth. We now have a greater challenge than surviving together, or really surviving apart, and that's living together. And that's a transition because sometimes we feel comfortable in our survival modes, and walls develop between us. The walls between us, whether it's tribal or racial, as the case may be, or religious. When there's walls between you, there's, on the other side of the wall is fear, and ignorance, and sometimes hatred and violence. When the walls come down, we all share the beauty and the richness of the sunshine and grow in the same rain. I want to really finish when this is over. We're going to make this a more permanent infrastructure. I've asked Brother Howard G. to send Brother Howard G., a former Nigerian, a U.S. ambassador to Nigeria, and former state politician. Rainbow Push African-American connection to build this tunnel between here and Africa, that we might learn, because in the end you do business with people that you know and trust and like. So we don't know each other, don't trust, don't like, we don't do business. And then the more we dispel rumors, Nigeria and corruption must not be one and the same. That's not true. Nigeria has its share. Nigeria does not have a monopoly on corruption. When the banks made money stealing, triggering on taking people's houses, and then made money on the bailout because they wrote their own bill. Then make money on the insurance. That was legal stealing, absolute corruption. They got bailout and the people got locked out. I mean, I don't want us to get caught where, you know, when white people, you know, black people lie, white folks prevaricate. Using big words, you know. You know, black people steal and white folks embezzle. Talk to me somebody. What stops stealing is not race. What stops stealing is checks and balances and enforcement of the law. What stops stealing is checks and balances and enforcement of the law. And at some point in time, as we mature, if it is true that Ghana was freed, independent, should I say, in 1957, that was 56 years ago, means the oldest African democracy is 56 years old. Everything else is less than 56. American democracy is 48 years old. We're just 48. The 246 years of slavery, that wasn't, can't reconcile slavery and democracy, that was slaveocracy. Another 40 years of black people couldn't vote, women couldn't vote, that was, you know Jim Crowocracy. Democracy was born in 1965, when blacks could vote as well as other people could vote. And then it wasn't over there. White women couldn't serve on juries. Then stopped there, 18 years into 1970, couldn't vote, though they were serving in Vietnam. Students on campus couldn't vote until 1974. We couldn't vote bilingually until 1975. We couldn't vote proportionally until 1988. So in many ways, our democracy is like somewhere between 45 and 15 years old. We're very new. We're learning. And even now, even though we're learning it, because we have the greatest constitution in the world, that's not true. South Africa's constitution is superior to ours. They never had in the South African constitution that white folks is 3/5 human. Our constitution had, we were 3/5 human until not long ago. I mean, so the reason I approach diplomacy in certain ways is because I think we can grow. We should not be so quick to be self-righteous and arrogant and marginalize people. The struggle is to make a big, say the struggle is to make a bigger tent. And make room for all of us in that tent. And no tent is full of all angels. Every tent got some rascals in it. But then we have to work on defining our interests. I see our brother here from GE. They're about to build a big generator on the Zambezi River. And is China going to get the project or is GE going to get it? Our interest lies in GE. Your interest may lie, that's where our interest lies. When GE grow, we grow. When China grow, we observe them work in our own country, saving somebody. Yeah, so we got to define what our interests are, and then we fight it out. But we got the one thing I want to do is two things. One, I want Brother G to put together this commission of Africans and African Americans to begin to meet on some regular basis. G, because he's credible and smart, I ask him to help chair it. But also, when the UN session comes in September, we're going to have us a one-day session of our own. We're going to have us an African American summit at that time. To come from your country to the UN and speak to about 25 people with 15 bodyguards. They run out of Washington, take a photo op, and go to Mayo and get a health clinic, health check, and go back home. You've not been to America. You're not engaged in what's possible. I mean, to go back to Africa and take a group of white people, we Tarzan had this run. It's time for us to go back to Africa and do it with each other. There's nothing an African nation needs African Americans cannot provide. We're scientists, we're business people, we're bankers, we're insurance people, the developers, the mineralists. There's nothing that you need. We can't say there's nothing we need. We cannot provide each other. Why is he smart to have that brother represent him? A, because he's smart. B, he melts into the crowd. Which is the whole point of, because G got enough sense to understand. You know what says, I'll let you go. When people say Pharaoh was such a mean guy, and went down in Pharaoh, Egypt and all that stuff, Pharaoh was that dumb. Pharaoh was having these nightmares and fits and he couldn't sleep. He asked all the guys, all his buddies, explain the dream. They didn't understand it. And all of his tribe explained the dream. They couldn't explain it. They were getting crazier every day. They said, there's a guy in jail from another race. And so he's accused of raping your captain's wife. But he can interpret dreams. Pharaoh said, bring him on. His name is Joseph. Bring him on. Even Pharaoh had enough sense to get whoever could help him understand why he was going crazy. We should have at least as much sense as Pharaoh. Whoever, say whoever, got enough sense, whoever got out the nightmare, whoever got enough sense to cure cancer, that's my kind of guy. Put your hands together now. You want us to keep this going on a continuous basis? Raise your hand. You want us to build on this? Want to build on this? Want to have the meeting in September? We're going to figure out. President Goodluck Jonathan has already agreed to be like point person on the Nigerian side this time around. It could very well revolve, but Goodluck Jonathan is going to come to such a session. Gita. Ambassador. I was saying President Goodluck Jonathan has already committed. We work up to date with these appropriate people. Nigeria will be the point people on the first one pull off. Once you get the date worked out and the location, we're going to have a major African-American summit meeting at the time. I know some of y'all want to go to the UN, some of them to the Twins conference. But you ought to come to your own conference for at least one day and connect with each other. And we're going to begin to invest in Africa in a big way. And I'm excited about it. And I'm excited about our possibilities.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Jackson Senior. Let's move to our next big economy in Africa. Let's move to South Africa. We have here Honorable Thembinkosi Willis Mchunu. I hope I pronounced well. So he's from KwaZulu-Natal. So let's hear from what he has to tell us. We learned from South Africa. Everyone is talking about South Africa, but we have more countries doing well in Africa. Maybe we can also learn how they are doing, what they have been doing, so we can learn from them. And they do also in the different countries, ranging from Botswana all the way to Togo. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, and good afternoon to all. You would have realized that there's two of us, my colleague, Dr. Andres Nel, spoke this morning on just a full perspective of South Africa on the international arena. One of the major things discussed was obviously the cooperation that we need from the international community. On the issue of South Africa being a new democracy, we are less than 20 years. We are just about to be 20 years as a democratic country. You will then appreciate that the task of rebuilding that country is enormous, and we cannot do it alone. We have taken an attitude as a country that we are part of Africa. There is no complete Africa without us. And everything we do, we are not just doing it for South Africa, we do it for Africa. We are located at the southernmost tip of Africa, surrounded by the sea, almost from east to west, and a better part of south. That then means that in South Africa, we have a potential in many respects. One of the major areas of development that we are going to be going into is the maritime industry. I want to share with you that as a country, we have just discovered that we virtually own nothing in the maritime industry. And that's a big potential for us, because we can boast of very busy ports around the country, some of them very big ones. I come from the province of KwaZulu-Natal, and in fact I should have said that the person originally invited to this auspicious occasion is the premier of our province. But since he has taken over national tasks, he just couldn't come. So we apologize on his behalf, but thank you for inviting us nonetheless. As a country, one of the matters that was discussed this morning is Africa's youthfulness. We have so many young people. Almost half the population are young. But we've also quantified the three major areas that are problematic to us. And that is unemployment, poverty, and inequality. All of you will be familiar that inequality stems from our history, our apartheid history. That grouping of young people need jobs. Therefore, jobs are at the foremost priority of South Africa. With this potential I'm talking to you about the maritime industry, we are saying, is there nobody out there that can partner with us, come and be a part of our development of that maritime industry for South Africa, on behalf of South Africa, but as part of developing it for Africa as well. Africa's gateway of imports is through our ports of Durban and Richards Bay. We export through Richards Bay tons and tons of coal. We import through the Durban Harbour tonnages of imports, all destined for the hinterland of Africa, especially the Southern African Development Corporation countries. Therefore, you develop within that area, you are virtually assisting Africa to develop. We believe that, therefore, that for us is the first and foremost industry that is going to be new. And we are saying, without foreign direct investment and without capital, foreign capital, assisting in the investment to those areas of maritime industry, we will not have done justice to the economy of our country and that of Africa. Again, on the issue that was discussed this morning on the agricultural front, poverty has been underlined as one of the issues that need to be addressed through agricultural development. And we want to say we have a potential, just like all countries of Africa, we have a potential of agricultural development, which can create the much needed employment, but also which can create the much needed food to deal with the poverty that we've just been speaking about now. In a sense, you can safely say that we have identified agricultural development as another potential development area. And out there in the international arena, we are saying explore those possibilities. On the issue of infrastructure, I've just been saying that we can boast ports, but we also boast a very, very good rail system which has become old and obsolete. It has been mentioned by GE here that there is a partnership with the PRASA to deal with the renovation of that rail industry, including in the locomotive field. And that in itself is a major area of investment. You will know that the President has announced right through the world the intention of the National Development Plan to concentrate on the infrastructure development as a major area of development, which also is not just for South Africa, which is a development right into the hinterland of Africa as well. That in itself is a major area of development that South Africa is contributing in on behalf of Africa, which we are going to be driving as the country. We are lucky in the province in the sense that most of that infrastructure runs through our province, and therefore we're very well positioned for people to interact with. Besides just that rail transportation industry, the whole of the transport industry forms part of our development areas where we are saying the integrated system of transportation is in need of formulation in our country. You know, we have not been totally integrated with apartheid. Many communities, the majority of the communities were left out. Only now must we then address that issue of transportation into these communities. It's a hell of a job to be undertaken, which we cannot undertake alone. Again, it's an area we are saying to the international community, especially you in the US, but also our brothers in Africa. Let's look at all of those potentials. Let's look at developing the people, but more than developing the people, making sure that there are these much needed jobs. Our National Development Plan has identified a need to create more than 11 million jobs by 2030. And that is not just a dream. It's a plan that we want to go into. And it's a plan which makes us to go all over the globe to say to potential investors, we have 11 million jobs to create. Please come and play ball, be part of developing those 11 million jobs. And that should be done in all of the industries that I've just spoken to. You will also know that globally, the renewable energy going into the green economy is the call of duty now for all countries. We are also not isolated from that. We are working very much towards looking at what renewable energy systems can we go into. We want to develop that biomass capacity. We want to go into all the other renewable energy systems that exist in the world. We want to explore everything from the wind energy, solar energy, all of that we want to develop with plans towards all of that. Therefore, we are a new democracy, but as a new democracy, we think we now almost know which way to go to follow other people. And all of these things, as I have indicated, cannot be done except through partnerships. And we have encouraged partnerships, and our Premier has been here from our province, has been on these forums, on these platforms. At times he has attended with our Provincial Minister of Economic Development to promote these matters. So has the government of South Africa. President Zuma has led delegations and delegations of business people around the globe to talk to every business person and saying, please work with our business people in the country. because we have that partnership with our business people in the country. We encourage them to go out to the world to talk to all of their counterparts and invite that much needed investment in our country. And you as well, in this platform, we have an opportunity to say to you, you are invited.
There are people who choose to make a positive difference in the world. Our job is to bring you their stories to motivate you to do the same. Join us each week, host John Alexander and Naima Latif, as we bring you the educators, entertainers, elected officials, religious leaders, and community activists whose works are transforming this world. Find out how you can make a difference too. Be inspired. Watch The Media Connection.
How long you been out here, Maurice?
About 5 to 6 months.
What led you to be out here?
Some of my family, man, he just treat me so wrong, they don't want to be bothered with me. Sometimes people are helping, sometimes, I have a hard way to go,
Do you have some place that you go at the end of the night when it starts getting real cold?
Sometimes. I might have to sleep in the hallway or something, I might have to sleep in the hallway or something,
My name is Dr. Lincoln Scott. I'm the founder of Hope House of Chicago. We're located at 3551 West Roosevelt Road in Chicago, Illinois. I'm also the pastor of the House of Prayer Church of God in Christ. Listen, in our shelter over here, where there is a great need of what we're endeavoring to do to help continue our work. Matter of fact, we need the donation of a lot of bleach, disinfectant, sheets, blankets, and also the support of our gas bill. We need a plumber here and also a roofer. We could use some teachers also, men of experience that doesn't mind getting in and talking and helping. Financial help would be greatly appreciated because we're in great need of these men's services over here. Whatever financial contribution you can give us, money-wise, we certainly appreciate it to the highest. Our gas bills are pretty high. We feed these men over here. We just don't give them soup and bread, but we give them a wholesome meal so we can talk to them real good. So your contribution, if you're a great carpenter, if you're a plumber or a heat man or a roofing man, we need your help over here at Hope House of Chicago at 3551 West Roosevelt Road. Your financial contribution will be highly appreciated here to help us along to keep this program going.